Hello and welcome to my channel. Go ahead, hit the like, hit the share, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure your notifications are on all. That way you're not missing any of my uploads. Now, some of you may be seeing the same things I'm seeing with the propaganda still being put out here on these platforms, as though we'll forget all of the things we witnessed that led up to R. Kelly's incarceration and the blueprint that was put on display when it comes to targeting certain celebrities with allegations that come from narratives that have been shipped and molded by specific individuals. Like how people wanted to piggyback off of Aaliyah's legacy and wanted to keep running these certain storylines. And it's all fun and games when it comes to people's personal opinions, but it's another matter when people skip around certain facts that have been on these platforms for years, even decades, that would shed light to these relationships or these history of allegations of misconduct within R. Kelly's circle that people tend to look over when they engage with certain narratives. Now, unlike some that seem to get a touch of selective amnesia, who forget how these allegations surfaced when it came to R. Kelly and why individuals came to these platforms pushing certain agendas using these storylines to further their propaganda. We won't forget how the narrative formed from R. Kelly having this alleged sex cult to running this RICO enterprise, and all of these so-called enablers were supposed to be held accountable, and we saw how the government dropped the ball when it came to that. Yet what really had me was how we could witness how easily it is to fabricate janky-ass evidence and allow bad act witnesses to grace these platforms to fulfill their obligations to push their storylines to the public. However, anybody with eyes could see the deception behind the so-called evidence that they were presenting to prove their points. Anybody with common sense would start to pick up on why reasonable individuals will question this age that's being presented within some of these so-called accusers, when 1 minute they'll present themselves as an adult, then go back and say that they lied about their age. Just like it doesn't take a genius to recognize why specific attorneys will gravitate towards certain allegations and help their clients put out so much information within the public domain that will lead to anybody starting to believe their nonsense instead of recognizing the deception within it all. What does it say when so much time, resource, and money has been spent into giving these so-called bad act witnesses the platform to violate people's civil rights and to clearly put on public platforms the level of misconduct some of these prosecutors are willing to indulge in order to hit their target? One thing's for sure and two things for certain. My platform was established not only because I didn't need to go on other people's platform to establish myself, but what I did was keep reminding the people of all the things that led up to R. Kelly's incarceration, all the storylines that were being pushed by these people who claim they came out here to give these accusers voices, but got so engulfed into the legal process and the so-called criminal investigation that was ongoing when it came to R. Kelly and all these alleged relationships or history of accusations that people want to now shape and reshape to fit their narratives, as though we didn't see all of this information being plastered all over Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube when it came to these specific individuals being used to facilitate this janky-ass RICO. Now, up until R. Kelly had been accused of running this sex cult and all this other propaganda was put out here, everybody can go back to previous articles and other things talked about on this topic to see just how different the perspective was between 2002 and between 2017 when we heard all of these cult allegations, all of these R. Kelly is holding my daughter hostage allegations. And it could be a no-brainer as to why somebody like Robert Kelly would want to keep his relationships secret when it comes to the public. So when it comes to people who come out with these articles and these different spinoffs regarding his relationships, and then you see all of these miscellaneous people and even photos that don't even align with the person they're trying to portray, it should be a no-brainer why I tell you, stop believing everything you see. Stop running with what he said and what she said. When you see specific things being plastered over these platforms, it's okay to go and do your own research. So with all that said, I'll conclude this video on this note. Even though we didn't see no damn cult with R. Kelly, we still ain't seen no hostages. The government never presented any children that this man was preying on. You ain't gonna convince me that this man was a predator in 1990, but just all of a sudden started doing things legally, but yet the government found it all in their power to manufacture all of these charges to fit a specific narrative of an enterprise and not hold the enablers, the so-called workers, accountable for the actions they put on display that they allegedly committed. And then, to add insult to injury, when you see publications like this being put out there, and you're very much aware that the average person will take this type of information, take it as fact, and run with it instead of doing their own homework onto these people they put on display who aren't even aligned with the names and the characters associated with the stories. It's even comical to throw Diddy in there and to speak on a relationship with a so-called person from R. Kelly's past who also had a so-called relationship with Diddy. And again, people not see the association game that's going on as far as how they use the same blueprint used against Robert Kelly to take down Diddy. Make that shit make sense. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and leave your comments below. What do you think about the way they keep reshaping this narrative, going from 1 minute talking about R. Kelly's past relationships to all of these alleged accusations of misconduct back to this relationship timeline of janky ass people?